All right. So today I just wanted to share some information on recruiting and team building and sharing, however you want to call it. I love this part of the business because I get to share with other women about what we do, and we get to impact their financial situation, and we get to impact their family life, and we get to impact how their children grow up. And so, bottom line, if it wasn't for me being in Mary Kay, my kids, we would have had to figure out how we were going to pay for braces, how we would pay for trumpet lessons, how we would pay for, well, more cars than I can even talk about because, I've earned, at this point, I've earned 10 cars. And so imagine not having a car payment. But my kids, we initially paid cash for their cars. And so there's just so many benefits to team building and sharing. So I just want to first encourage you, if this is the first time you're watching the team building and you're brand new, please start sharing now. Just do whatever your director is asking you to do because it's part of the business, and it's not up to us to decide what is best for other people. It's up for them to decide what's best for themselves. And so if we don't offer, we're being selfish and we're only thinking of ourselves. So there's a couple of things I just want to share. First off, team building is the only way that you can move up into the career path. So if you want to earn a car or you want to become a sales director, you have to team build. And it's just so much fun. So get excited about promoting yourself to the next level. You're going to really find that the biggest reward in team building, honestly, is the personal growth that you're going to gain. You're going to become more confident. Your family is going to become more confident. It just makes a huge difference. And so you're going to earn either 4, 8, 9, 13%, or as a director, you can earn up to 39% commission checks by moving up the career path. So let's get started. So first off, basically, you want to make a list of everyone you know. You want to identify team members already in your life. Most people, when they first start Mary Kay, when they work with their director and they share the business opportunity with them and they work with their director to follow up, can add 3 team members in their first 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so it's always more fun to run on a running track. And the best part is you don't have to train them. They get trained by the same way you do, by your mentor or your sales director. So I want you to make a list of every customer who doesn't have, or friend who doesn't have a good reason to become a consultant. So keep in mind that full-time jobs don't count because some of our some of our top consultants actually work full-time. Some of our top consultants, I know $1 million director was working 65 to 80 hours a week as a paralegal while building her business and earning a Cadillac. So she maintained that all the way through. It's just about working smart. Having children, it doesn't matter. Some of our top consultants have children and don't have children, so it doesn't matter. I've seen the queen of sales and the queen of sharing. One year was up there and she had 8 children, and they were all like, I don't know, the youngest one was like 4. It was crazy. And so what we might think are reasons why they can't are actually could be reasons why they could. So, again, that becomes, part of our judgment. And so we want to take that off. So just make a list. Who would you love to work with? Who is a diva? Who has good money management? Who's independent? Who's like boss babe? Who is the woman that you would want on your team? And you're like, oh my gosh, maybe you're scared, maybe you're intimidated, but if she were to join someone else's team in Mary Kay, would you go, oh, I wish I had asked her? And it's not that. What normally happens in that case is that their sister or mother or aunt or neighbor signs up. And so again, it becomes, that's how they get onto someone else's team. Second, you're going to make a list of personal acquaintances, and you have so many of them. And so don't slight people. by not adding them. Make a list of 20 out of town contacts and 20 in town contacts, and these are going to be your initial list to build your team. The real key is going to be to make the contact, and I can share that with you. Always give people a choice. And then, okay, so as your director has a script of how to ask people to join you, not necessarily in the business, but how to just get the interview. Because really, 9 times out of 10, it's just getting the interview, getting in front of their space. And a lot of times it's taking it away from them by saying, hey, listen, I know this is probably something you'd never do in a million years, but I'm earning my first prize in Mary Kay. I would love to just get your opinion and help me with my training. It's that simple. If your director is willing to work with you, which I know I am, what happens then is when we do the whole follow-up and everything, a lot of times if they're not interested, we can turn it into a booking or a purchase or a referral or something, okay? So the average person in layering takes 5 layers. The average consultant to join your team usually has to be touched 5 times. And so you might have signed up on the spot. I signed up on the spot. Or it might have taken you years to be a customer with your consultant. So keep that in mind. As you're talking to the prospect, be enthusiastic. Just be excited about the business opportunity, and don't over talk the situation. So a lot of people are so dissatisfied with their daily lives. I mean, oh my gosh, look at social media. People are frustrated with having to work all these days and hours and no recognition and stuff. So be honest about the facts. We have a fantastic opportunity, and so we don't need to balloon everything up. Keep your appointment short. You want to honor their time and limit it to about 30 minutes. So if they're watching a video or filling out a survey, it's about a 10-minute video, and then like a 10-minute follow-up. So you want to keep that in perspective. People can only process so much at a time. So the more layers they have, the better, and you can layer faster. Okay, so you don't have to wait 24 hours or a week to have them add to your team. You want to set a follow-up appointment with them quickly. One of the best ways to share the opportunity is to do a table close and to do a personal close. So I can talk about those, a little bit. So we always do marketing at our appointments, and so I like to play the ticket game. And so I have a roll of tickets, and I do the same thing at every party. I say, okay, who likes free stuff? And they all raise their hands. And I say, great, I have this roll of tickets, and nobody leaves until they're all gone. Just kidding. So we're going to play a ticket game, and it's basically ask me anything you want to know about Mary Kay. So if you ask me a question about me, I'm going to give you a ticket. If you ask me a question about Mary Kay products, I'm going to give you 2 tickets. And if you ask me a Mary Kay question about the Mary Kay business opportunity, I'm going to give you 3 tickets. Nothing is off limits. Anything you want to know except my weight, and they all laugh. Ready, set, go. And so then I just let them ask questions. I time it for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't let them go any further than that, but I'm identifying who's asking questions. And we want to make sure that they ask the questions. Okay, so when I was a new consultant, I would say, and if you can stump me, if you ask me a question that I don't know the answer to, you get an extra ticket, okay? And so it didn't matter. And that way I could find out the information, and I could get back to them the next day. I would write the question down, and I'd find out the information by either calling the company, researching it, or calling my director. Calling my director would be last. So anyway, so then I do the ticket game, and then I do referral game, and then I do an individual close. I do a table close with all of them. And I go through my set sheet, and then I end with the best set in the house is to join my team today. It's called the I Deserve It All Forever collection. And it's only $100 to get started in Mary Kay. And I know that, $100 really isn't a whole lot of money. It's like a pair of shoes or a bad meal at a restaurant that you're paying for anyway, or maybe, just eating out for a week. And so with this $100, you can actually make money with it. I can teach you how to make $1,000 in your first 30 days. So who could get excited about earning extra money? And so then when you do the individual close, you're going to individually close them by asking them what they enjoyed most about the products that they tried today. How does their skin feel, and what sets would they like to take home? Then, and there's a strategy behind all of it. So then I ask them, all of that. I close the sale. I rebook the appointment. I'm like, okay, great. If it's someone that I want to recruit, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, I'm doing color tomorrow afternoon. Are you available? Let's just do some fun color. And you want to try to book that really quickly. That's how I've recruited some of my best consultants, is by getting in front of them with color. And I don't worry about if it's in a group appointment or by themselves, because that appointment for me is going to be a sharing appointment. And if they decide not to join my team and it's going to take another layer, they're going to buy something in the process. So it's totally made smart use of my time. Then I ask them, after I book the appointment, I ask them, because now I have the referrals, and I can say, hey, who do you want to invite on here? And so then I turn it into a second appointment. And then, if I recruit her before that second appointment, I always make it hers. I'm like, hey, so what did you like best about what you heard about the business opportunity? And she'll tell me, and I'll say, have you ever thought about just doing this on the side for extra money? And they say, no, or they give you some objections, and you have to learn the objections. You have to learn the objections. The time, the money, the friends, they're all the same. And so it's like, you don't want to overwhelm them with information, but you want to overcome their initial objection. And usually their first two are not the real objection. It's usually the third objection that's the meat and potatoes. And so that's the one that I want to learn. And so anyway, and so then you just say, what, at your appointment, we can, if you want to decide before your appointment, I'll make that part of yours. If you decide today, I'll throw in an extra charcoal mask for your kit. And, I always just, tell them that they can get an extra free product, because we want to reward decision makers. So that's initially how I can get them to sign on the spot. If they can't sign on the spot, or they won't sign on the spot, then I'm going to do the layering at their second appointment, and I'm going to coach it really, really well. And so, just a few guidelines about team building. As you talk to them, be enthusiastic, be honest, keep the information short. Talk to your team member and her husband together if you can at the same time, or your director will. If there's a video that you want her to watch, then have her, suggest that she watch it with her husband. And then you want to keep it simple. Would she like doing this? How much money would she make? Ask her, what would she do with the extra money? Because that's going to be her why. And you want to zone in on that why. You want to look for enthusiastic customers and loyal hostesses, women who are looking for extra money, not women necessarily who need extra money. And I use the word need to mean desperate. Most people, when they're desperate, they freeze, and so they don't work. You want to look for people who are already winning in some area. They're already good at their job. They're the best volunteer ever. Maybe they're a room mom. They don't necessarily have to work, but they're successful. They're successful in their church. Maybe they're a bus driver, and they're the best darn bus driver out there because they're pumped up and they're excited. Okay. Women who are dissatisfied with their job, women who care about their appearance, women who love the products or love products, people with positive attitudes. You want them to be contagious. People who ask you questions about what you do. So whenever I have someone who says, oh my gosh, so how long have you been doing this? And I say 17 years, they're like, oh, that's a leading question. You want to follow up with that. There's different steps in the team building process. You want to share materials. I always have like an applause magazine, my check, maybe a weekly plan sheet that you can get off of the InTouch website, and maybe some company literature in there as well. Okay. And maybe a couple samples. You want to invite her to any function that we're having. So if we're doing facials before a meeting, make sure you invite her. Saturday, Sunday facials, make sure you invite her. And I would bribe her. I just would bribe her with like a free product. I've been known to hold a product back. Sometimes they've ordered something and maybe I don't have it. And I'm like, well, on Saturday we're doing some glamour and I would love to invite you to come to that, and I'll have it for you there. whatever. Share the information with their husbands if possible, and invite your director to, just kind of follow up with them. Okay. You want to ask questions in order to generate interest. Have you ever thought about doing something like this on the side for extra money? Have you ever thought about owning your own business? Would you ever consider doing what I do? Have you ever thought about where you'd like to be in 2 years or 5 years? What are you doing right now to get there? Do you like to work with people? Do you like makeup? Would you like a business with unlimited earning potential, advancement potential? You're looking for leaders. My sales directors challenged me to share information on the business opportunity with 3 women. I'm looking to share the information with 3 sharp women that I meet every week. I've selected you. Would you like to meet for coffee, or would you like to meet for a pink drink at Starbucks and buy their coffee? Bribe them. When to build your team. Oh my gosh, every day. Here's the thing. If you do not share the information, or if you do not close them with information within 24 hours, their interest rate and their interest level drops. And it's not because Mary Kay's not a great opportunity. It's because of one of 2 things. 1, they overthink it. 2, someone tells them something negative. And so you want to be able to close them quick. And so a lot of things that I say are, okay, so are you a 24 or 48 hour woman? And they'll say, oh, I'm a 48 hour woman. I'm like, great. I will contact you in 48 hours and find out if this is something you want to try. I don't wait 48 hours. I call them in 24 hours and I say, you know what? I was just so excited. I couldn't wait 48 hours. I just wanted to know, are there any questions that you have? What questions have you been thinking about? I'd really like to work with you, and then try to overcome that. Because every 24 hours that passes, their interest level drops another 20%. So after 5 days, they're out. So invite all your potentials to a unit meeting or to an event that you're having. What if you're having a party tomorrow night? You can say, hey, listen, I'd love for you to come tomorrow night. Invite them. The hostess ain't going to care. It's not a big deal. Follow up with people who have said yes in the past, but maybe situations have changed. And so I am the sticky note queen. No kidding. And so when someone says to me, well, you know what, check with me in a month, I sticky note it and I put it in my book, check with Susie in 1 month. Okay, but here's the thing. I really don't like to wait a month because their interest level drops. Most people who tell me that they want to wait never join my team. Okay, prospect at family reunions, clubs, social outings. Here's the thing. You always want to try to get them in front of product. But one of my best consultants for 3 years, I recruited right after I became a director at my grandfather's funeral. Yep. So you never know. You just never know. The easiest way to do things and be an icebreaker is to wear your name tag. Always be prepared. Do you have recruiting packets in your car? Do you have some information that you can share with them in your car? Have you saved it to your phone? Have you saved the script to your phone with the video, with the survey, so that you don't have to continuously ask for your director to send information because you're prepared? Tools that you want to have. Mary Kay has some really great tools. There's an app, and you can look at it. I can't remember what the app's name is. I'm sure somebody will post it in this video down below. But I just want you to know, for every 5, okay, so if you have 5 people at a party, you have the potential to interview 2 and recruit 1. So I want you to understand your numbers before you discourage yourself by thinking, oh my gosh, no one wants to recruit with me. Because for every 5 people that you actually share the information with, and I mean sit down, do marketing with that person, meeting them one-on-one, 1 person is going to join your team. Okay. So, and as your skills get better, then it's going to become 1 in 4, then 1 in 3, and then even 1 in 2. So just know that no is part of the game. And no does not mean forever. No sometimes means not right now, or no, I want to pay full price because I love you as my beauty consultant. So in your first month, you want to share your director's information and do your sharing and earn your pearls. You want to earn your pearls honestly in your first week. in your first week. So that's sending out the survey that your director has to 10 of your best friends without prejudging them. Okay. And then for the next 3 weeks, as you are booking your appointments and building your confidence with appointments and scheduling your practice appointments to get your first 30 faces, in 30 days, you will be able to add 5 people to your team. Okay. So you'll add probably 1 or 2 with your director in your first week. You'll be able to round out your red jacket by doing 15 shares or 20 shares in your first month. Okay. Just by sharing the product. Isn't that exciting? Okay. So then you're going to be in your snazzy red jacket. And so I have this little diagram because literally it's 15 people sharing the information with in your first month is going to be in your red jacket. So, get excited about that. Your director has an interview sheet for you to go through with interviews. And if you are saying to yourself that no one is booking or no one is buying or no one is joining your team, then we need to identify what the problem is. There is a problem, and you want to identify that problem. So, and it's not a big deal because everything is fixable in Mary Kay. And most of the time, like 99% of the time, no one wants to buy, book, or sell because we're not seeing enough people, and it's a numbers thing. And so there's lots of ways to fix that. And I know that you will work with your director to make that happen because the rewards are so great. Okay. So, one, you need to learn how to overcome the objections of I don't know enough people, the money objections, the knowledge is power, that, credit card debt is just crazy. And you need to have a layering chart. Okay.
Hi.
Oops, sorry.
My name is Heather Wickstrom.
Sorry.
And I want to welcome you.
Sorry. So you want to have a layering chart with the people that you want on your team. And I'll be honest, when I meet with people, like over coffee, I only have a couple of questions. And this is what I ask. What is it that you already know about Mary Kay? This is after I've met them. So tell me about you. What's exciting? What do I need to know about you? And y'all, I have a notebook. This is a notebook. It's one of these little spiral 49-cent notebooks. And I ask them, what is it that I need to know about you in order to get to know you better? And whatever she tells me is how the direction goes. Okay, so you're going to have to know your personalities too. This is when you do a hardcore appointment. Okay, so if you're new, don't worry about this part right now. Okay, just work with your director. I'll have an advanced sharing thing. But I ask them, what's exciting about you? And this is where they tell me about their family, about their job, about their situation, their life and all that kind of stuff. And I say, great. What Mary Kay products do you love? I try to just bring it back to product, and they tell me, and I'm always in agreement, or I ask them if they tried this or, whatever. And then what do you already know about Mary Kay, the company, that impresses you? And they tell me about, either they know about the Mary Kay Ash Foundation, or they know about the products, or how the company's run, or the faith first, family second, career third, things like that. Okay. And then I agree with them, and I usually have a statement after that, what about this? Isn't that great? And I'm in agreement. Okay. So, what would you need to know today? And today is very important. What would you need to know today about Mary Kay, the business, in order to get you started? What questions would you have for me? And this is what they ask. This is when they ask me the questions. So they're asking me questions, and I'm writing down every single question. So then, and then I'm repeating it back to them. Okay, so you need to know, how do you meet people? Okay, so where do you find your clients? Okay, and you want to know, what kind of training is involved? Okay, let me write that down. And then I write that down. And y'all, I'm telling you, if you write things down, it shows respect to their time as well, and that you care about their concerns. Okay, and so then I answer their questions. Okay, now here's the thing. I don't talk about a strategy for this is where you get your customers. I always tell them this is, customers. I would say, you know what, I do fish bowls and I've done events and I do like fun things to meet people. And I also, probably 80% of my business is actually from referrals or bookings for bookings. And then I leave it at that. And then if they say, let's see, do I have to go to meetings or what kind of training's involved? And I say, you know what? You don't have to do anything you don't want to do in Mary Kay, but the more you do, and I said do because I'm a boy mom, the more you actually do, the more you make, the more you learn, the better you are, the more confident you are. And no one has to go to training. But what I find is that when you start going to training and you find out what the core of the company is all about and the women that you're surrounding yourself with, you never want to miss another one. Okay. So training is optional, and there's always going to be things, maybe Monday nights don't work for them. My director will find you another meeting. My director will find you another event that's closer to you if you're out of town. And then if they say, okay, well, I've heard you have to start with product. You know what? How you start your business, this is what I say every single time. I don't go into the I don't talk about inventory at all because inventory is optional. I always say this. I say, you know what? Inventory is a decision that you and your husband or yourself or whoever that you get to make. Some start with a little, some start with a lot, some start in the middle. But that's a decision that you make once you get your business started. No one's going to force you to do inventory, and whatever you decide to do, I will respect that. That's it. Okay. I don't say, oh, you have to place an order every month. You have to do this. You have to do that. I don't talk about 225. I don't talk about 1800. I don't talk about 3600. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then, if they say anything, I just address the questions. Okay. And then I say, all right, so if you were to do something like this, if you were to join my team, what would be something that would concern you? And then they tell me what their concern is and I write it down and I say, what else? And they say something else and I write it down and I say, okay, is there anything else that concerns you? And they usually say no. And so it would be like, if it's money, I help them with the money. It literally goes to overcome the objections. Okay. But I make it very clear to them that I will support them in this business and respect whatever decisions they make. Just work with me. And then I say, this is the end. I say, okay, so this is how we get started in Mary Kay. And I break out an agreement and I put it in front of them with a pen. And I say, this is how we get started. Are you ready to get started? And they either pick up the pen and start filling it out, and they say yes. And I say, great, we can do this online or we can do this on paper. What's better? And I can hand them my phone. I get into my phone and I pull the agreement and I have them do it right then and there. And, and then if they're in my unit, I would say something like, okay, so I'm so excited. Our first meeting is this date. Can you come? And I would offer to pick them up. I would buy them dinner before or something, or pick them up a Starbucks on the way or something. And then I say, great, we're going to pin you. I cannot wait for everyone to meet you. Okay. It's not for you to meet everyone. It's for everyone to meet you. And we're going to do it on this day and this time, blah, 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 blah. And then, I don't talk to them about inventory. I just say, hey, you know what? My director's going to be in contact with you here in the next day. If you really want to go this far, and I think this is a great idea, you can say, hey, let me see if my director's available real quick. Let's call her. And just call me. If I can't answer the phone, leave me a message or pop me a quick text and say, hey, are you available? I'm sitting with a new team member. And, and I'll say yes or no. And I'll, do the initial meeting then. Okay. And then set up another time to get together with them and get them their first steps. Okay. really, that's all I do. I say, let's go ahead and get your party on your books, and then I'll give you a little bit of homework. How's that? And you really want to get this on the books before they get their kit. I know, because you want to start coaching them, and you coach it like any other party. Okay. So I hope that this video has helped you. I really wanted to keep it under 30 minutes, so I am. And I just want you to know that if you work with your director and you work with your recruiter, great things happen. So if you ever get to a point where you're frustrated in your business, increase your numbers, because there's nothing that numbers can't fix. Let's see you in red this week.